Okay, this is a chaotic video. I already know it is because I'm about to tell you what happened. Hello, welcome to A Shadow and Schmooze. This is where we get ready and put on makeup. I actually filmed an entire Shadow and Schmooze, filmed, edited it, everything. And I don't know, I talked about for like half the video being an only child, growing up as an only child, because when I posted on Instagram, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about being an only child one way or another, so I was gonna do like a whole Shadow and Schmooze on it. I did that, and I was editing it and like, I don't know, just kind of unsure as I was editing it if I wanted to post it. Now I've been sitting on it for like a couple weeks. Like I've had this video uploaded to YouTube on private, ready to go. I don't know, I'm not feeling it. But the issue is that A, I already spent like 8 hours of work on that video between the filming and editing. And B, I do like how the makeup turned out. I talked about some makeup products I wanted to like update you on. And then for the second half of the Shadow and Schmooze, I talked about totally unrelated things. So I don't want to trash the entire video. So what I decided to do last night as a solution is we're gonna do like a mini Shadow and Schmooze in the beginning, aka right now. And then the second half of the video will be the other half of the other Shadow and Schmooze, because I do still have things that I talked about in that I want to show you, and all the makeup and all that. So yeah, this video is a little all over the place, but hopefully you're just here for the talking and makeup so you don't really mind. And I didn't want to trash that entire video. I don't know, the thing with YouTube, by the way, going with the Makeup by Mario foundation, and you get double makeup now too. And I've been loving this primer. This is actually blurring the L'Oreal Age Perfect, and I have on the e.l.f. glow screen, or not glow screen, Woe Glow underneath. I feel like I'm getting closer to a way that I like this foundation. Like this looks nice right now on top of that primer and e.l.f. The thing with YouTube is like whatever you put out there, it's out there for forever, you know, and unless you delete the video. And if I'm not 100% on a video or what I'm saying, I try to think through as much as I can, like, could this be taken out of context? Could this be misconstrued? Could it be seen a different way than I'm like intending it to? And if the answer is yes, I always just cut it out or don't post it because it's just not worth it. So I'm filming this part when I'm in Sedona, Arizona. You're gonna be seeing a Sedona vlog coming, but this part of the video is in Sedona. Next part of the video is in San Diego. San Diego was so nice. It was just nice to, like, I felt like it was a true reset where I was fully unpacked for the first time in like, what, a year? I'm doing this now for a year and a half, man. But I was fully unpacked. I saw family, I saw friends, I worked a lot, but also just like sat by a fireplace sometimes, which was like really nice. Went on walks, got a gym membership for like, you know, temporary. Ate healthier, was making smoothies. It was just like exactly what I needed. This seems to be sitting a little weird on top of that. This is the Say concealer. I got these cute little clips off of Amazon and I'm really liking them. They come in like a bunch of different colors and they hold a shit ton of hair. Like these are made for like, you know, styling hair, so you can really grip a lot back if you have thick hair. The desert hair is really doing it for me because it's so dry here. There's like, you have like 0 flyaways and you really don't have to like touch up your hair because of there's 0 humidity, it feels like. Speaking of humidity, someone asked me this on Instagram and I still recommend if you need a foundation for super humid places, this foundation, the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It, I still think is the best in humidity. I tested that in South Carolina, Charleston in the summer, and that was the hottest I've ever been. No. Rome, Italy this last summer, hottest I've ever been, but Charleston, close second. Sedona people really take their self-relaxation seriously because every coffee shop and every restaurant here opens at 10 a.m. minimum. Like that's the earliest. So I worked this morning, actually went in, they have like a hot tub that has the prettiest friggin' view here. So at 7:30 a.m. I went in the hot tub. It was so nice. I just like brought my coffee in there and then I've been working. Now we're filming and then I'm gonna go walk and grab some coffee and stuff. And I actually changed hotels today. Okay, Mario's looking not bad at all. It's actually looking really nice right now with that combo. But when you guys are watching this, I will still be in Arizona, so I don't know if I'll still be in Sedona. Let me know if you have any Phoenix tips, either like cool hikes to do or restaurants that I should definitely go to. Phoenix/Scottsdale. I mean, they're right there, you know? Let me know if there's anywhere I need to check out because I'll be in Phoenix/Scottsdale for like 9 nights. It snowed here, which was so exciting and so beautiful. Like seeing the red rocks with snow on top of it, insane. Whoops. I've basically been doing like cold girl makeup whatever you want to call it, every day. I just love the look of it, so I guess I'll do that. I actually haven't tried this for my under eyes yet, so I kind of want to. Just on like part, I'm gonna use a bigger, fluffier brush because when you use this Physicians Formula powder with a small brush, it gets intense, but as with a fluffy brush, like a powder brush, it just looks really nice. Oops, I don't know why I did that first. I'm gonna use the cream. Hold up. I've been loving the Charlotte Tilbury new matte blush ones. It's hard to find matte liquid blushes like this that blend out easy, and these just look and blend like a freaking dream. And this is like the perfect cold girl makeup shade. It's Dream Pop. And you don't need a lot. I'm gonna bring some on my nose to get the cold look. Not that I mean, it's like 20 degrees out right now, 25 degrees. Sedona's coming through for the cold makeup. Blend out the edges, set under my eyes a little bit. This powder is phenomenal. It is like weirdly diffusing. I'm trying this bronzer. I'm not like obsessed yet, but this is the L'Oreal Infallible. I actually have the medium and light. I think I just can't find a shade that I like so far. This is 250 light. There's a lot of shades, which is nice, but I think I just need to find a better tone. This one is too orange when I have no tanner on. Then when I'm feeling real lazy, I go in with this palette and I just take like the light nude shade and I just pop that all over my eye. I don't even prime. This is just like my quick everyday kind of makeup I've been doing. Now with that same brush, just because peak laziness, I take the pure white shade and just pop it towards my inner corner, and this is what gives you that like really bright look. And you can do a shimmer right here too. Sometimes I do put the shimmery white in this palette. Brightens things up. Actually, I'm going to take the shimmery shade. So I'm just going with the shimmery white. There's also like a really nice shimmery champagne color in this palette. Legs are falling asleep. Okay, this thing is key. This is the Wet n Wild blush in the shade Peach Bums. I use this as a like blush topper kind of thing, and oh my god, it is beautiful. It looks very natural, like you can't see glitter. It just gives you this beautiful like pinky sheen, and it's a few bucks. And then if you want it a little lighter, I also like layering. I'll either layer Ciate Glow 2, this is another amazing product for that kind of look, in Tempt Me, or Benefit Tickle. This one gives more, this is a highlighter, so it gives more of like a pink champagne kind of color. This one is more just like pure pink, so I'm going to take this, it's like a light pink, but if you take it on a small highlighting brush, it is so insanely beautiful. This is like if you really want to, you know, take the glow to the next level, the pinky glow. It's so pretty. I just put cream liner on the waterline. Okay. I've been really biting my tongue with this whole mascara thing. This is the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift. Just like looking at this mascara, if you know, you know. Just looking at it makes my blood boil. Ironically, it actually is a good mascara so far if you powder your under eyes. If not, it like hella transfers down. Like I wore this the day I was flying at the airport and I didn't powder my under eyes and I had black like all the way under here. I was like wiping the whole time. But if you do powder your under eyes, this actually gives like a really pretty cat eye kind of fluttery look though. It's not super voluminous. It's more like lengthening and gives you that shape that I really like. I'm sitting lower now because my leg fully fell asleep. Layering the Tower 28 mascara over top, and whoa man. And then one thing I always do now, this is something I started doing, I want to say like 6 months ago, and I actually don't even know if I've ever talked about it in a video, but I take a liner, any kind of like small tip liquid liner, and I just do one like tiny flick basically on the very outer part of my eye. And if you do that, you don't deal with the whole like wing folding thing and creasing, but also it just makes it look like you have a lash out there, and it just like really extends your eyes and opens up your eyes without doing much at all. So I wait for the mascara to dry though, because sometimes when you like, you know how it is when you close your eyes and it gets all clumpy. So in the meantime, we'll do lips. One of my favorite lip liners is Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine, and I am so excited to update you on this because this is like the love of my life currently, and it is the perfect like cold girl kind of lip look. I have on the Lawless lip mask right now, so just kind of rubbing that off. It's not going on great right now because I still have some of that lip mask on, but I just like to line a little bit, mostly at the top and then like right here. You guys, this bad boy, CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss in the shade Butter Cosmo. So I would say this is just like a tinted lip oil than a gloss. I hate the scent. It has this like really strong cherry scent, but once it's on my lips I don't notice it, but the look that it gives your lips, it like smooths the lines, plumps a little bit, it's comfortable, and I love the shade. It's looking more like mauve in this lighting right now for some reason, but it is like a pretty, not too bright, but like pink color. That's a little more like it. Okay, so last up, gonna do that liner and just do a little flickeroo. That was actually a little big. Usually I try to keep it thinner. Of course, when I'm filming, those ones sucked, but normally I like to keep it thinner. But this is basically some form of my everyday makeup. Obviously testing different foundations and stuff, so that changes, but for the most part, it's like something like this. And that usually takes me like 15 minutes-ish to do, depending on how the brows go. You know, that's always the time sucker. But anyway, that was our little intro / part 1. Here's the Shadow and Schmooze half of the video that I'm using. I'm going to switch it up today and use my Danessa Myricks contour. This is in the shade Light 1. I love this thing. I haven't used it in a while though, just because I've been trying other stuff, so I just wanted to whip it out again. Oh, yeah, the shade is so good on this one. I'm going in with the Physicians Formula powder. This is Benefit Shelly. I've been loving this. Such a pretty color. Going in with the Patrick Ta palette, by the way. Kind of actually similar to this topic, I feel like, is I wrote this down in my notes. Usually for my Shadow and Schmoozes, I'll think of a topic as I'm like doing something, and then I just put it in a note for like next Shadow and Schmooze topics, and that's as far as I get, and then I just start blabbing in the video. But one of the things I wrote down to talk about was I was thinking about the concept of boredom. I think it was something I was reading, like one of the books was talking about, they were talking about it as an adult, and I was sitting there like, I read that line like 10 times, and I was like, I can't remember the last time I was bored or being bored as an adult. And that's not to be like, oh my god, I'm so busy, whatever, I'm so great that I don't get bored. That's not what I mean. I'm just like, I always feel like I have 50,000 things to do. And also there are so many like fun things and activities and hobbies and just like this never-ending list of things that I want to do, that when I'm sitting there, it's because I'm like trying to relax, not because I'm bored and there isn't something I can do. So I just got to thinking like about the concept of boredom as an adult. I don't know, I just always figured like boredom was more of a thing that we go through as kids, because don't get me wrong, I can think of so many times that I was like truly so bored. I remember, this is such a random story, but only child things. I remember playing with foot powder one time. Like I found this foot powder in a cabinet, and I just like covered my feet and like, I think like probably my whole body in like foot powder. And I remember just sitting there being so bored. And that was like, that just sticks out in my mind, playing with foot powder. But like as an adult, I truly can't remember the last time I was like, I felt bored. So now I'm just curious, like what was the last time you felt bored? Okay, I'm gonna take this pinkish shade in here. The Patrick Ta shimmers are definitely more like toppers, I would say. But I have been loving the tones in this palette. They are very flattering and just like different. It reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury. You know how I always talk about Charlotte Tilbury tones and how there's just, they nail it. That's how like this palette is. Somehow this turned very purple looking. I really truly wasn't thinking about makeup at all the whole time I was just talking about that. So I don't even know what I have going on my face right now. Don't even remember doing eyeshadow. I just blacked out. I'm gonna do my cream liner on the waterline. Is my mic still on? Let me check, because I keep feeling like the battery's gonna die. We're good. Before I do the lower lash line, I'm gonna retry this Undone Beauty liner. This is so tiny. The tip on this is like microscopic. Because lately, actually, for my just day-to-day makeup, I've been doing cream liner, mascara, and then I use like a just wing liner, and I just do one thin line to almost make it look like it's an extension of my lashes, and it just opens up your eyes. So I have been using this for that purpose, but I haven't tried it like really on top of a full shadow look like this, so I want to see how it goes over. It's not the blackest black over shimmer shadow, but I have been liking it for what I just said, without, you know, just day-to-day no shimmer. It's a really smooth brush tip though, and it is really easy to get a fine line, which I love. As we're on the topic of just, you know, life and things in general, I talked about this book in my last Raves and Rejects video, January, but it was at the very end, and in case you missed it, I just wanted to highlight again because I really feel like this is probably one of the most life-changing books I've read, and I feel like just anyone can benefit from. There's so many different messages. I'm talking about 4,000 Weeks, by the way. Here's the book. I'll link it down below. There's so many different things that you can take away from that book. I'm going to try the Maybelline Sky High Mascara with the Tarte Lit Tubing Mascara. I don't love this mascara on its own, so I've basically been trying this primer with mascaras that I don't like on their own, and the best combo so far has been this primer with the Essence mascara. I'll link down below. Those two together are so nice. Like, they look really good, and I don't like the Essence on its own, But I think for mascaras that are like lengthening but don't have enough volume, this can be really nice because it just adds that volume in. This one is black. A lot of mascara primers are white. But what were we talking about? Oh, the book. Really good and interesting perspective on life in general, the time we have here, what to focus on, what's most important, social stuff, like the importance of community and time. And there's just, I mean, there's so many different things that he touches on. And I really think, like, even if you're not a reader, I would say just read this one book this year. See, this does do something with certain mascaras. So this is a tubing mascara, but it's not like fibery. I hate the ones where you have the shit falling in your eyes. This is not that. It just goes on like a normal mascara. It doesn't do a whole lot for me, so I prefer the Tower 28 over this, but so far on that one coat with that mascara primer, this is looking really good. And I feel like on the second coat, it'll probably be next level. That tends to happen with this primer. Let me know down below, what is like the most life-changing book you've read that you think is one that everyone should read? If we all comment that down below, we're gonna have a real good collection of books going down below. And I definitely take your guys' book suggestions, and based on comments and stuff, I've ordered books based on what you've said, so I really appreciate the recommendations. Whew, almost got that on my cheek. That was a close one. Since I started reading, how long has it been now? At least 2 years, I want to say, since I got back in. Yeah, it was like November 2020. But it's so interesting because so many ideas in the way that I think now and like the big changes that I've made have been from books, like almost all of them. I would say it was like, you know, therapy helped, but also the reading is what like kicked the therapy into action kind of, and also continued what I learned. And now I just cannot imagine not having read certain things that I've read and like where I would be at if I didn't read those things or if I didn't go to therapy. It's just so interesting to like look back on. And then it's weird to think like, okay, but imagine all the things you haven't learned yet and all the things you haven't read yet. Wow. Knowledge, man. Knowledge is power. It's so sad that like as kids, I feel like most kids hate reading because the way that we're taught to like read in schools is like you have to read X amount of pages per day and you're forced to read these certain books that, yes, have like overarching good ideas, but I feel like would be so much more impactful if you just waited until you were actually interested in those books like later on in life. Because the reality of it is like how many of us, I don't at least remember a single specific book that I read in high school. I'm sure some people do, but like for me, I mean, it's really later in life that I like got back into reading because I feel like it's almost like shoved down our throats. And then you know how it is, anything you're like forced to do, usually it has the opposite effect. But imagine if kids were just able to like pick the books you could read and just enjoy reading as a process rather than being like forced to read things that you're not interested in at all. Reading has really, it's kind of funny. Reading as just like an overall thing has kind of blown up, I feel like, because of like TikTok, really. Like book talk is such a thing, and a few years ago the amount of people online that like I saw reading is so much less than now. So cool that like reading is having a revival right now. When I was like crazy workaholic, still, you know, working on it, but like when I was real deep in it, for me it was a good activity where I felt like it was relaxing and it was something other than work, but I was still getting something out of it. Not every hobby has to be that way, and actually in the 4,000 Weeks book they talk about that, how there's like a true hobby is something that you don't gain any kind of like, there's no end goal, there's no financial incentive, it's like just doing something because you really enjoy doing it. There shouldn't be like some kind of end goal to it. But I think sometimes it's really hard to go from like, if you're someone who is way too focused on being productive and work and all that, it's hard to kind of bridge the gap. And I think reading was something for me that helped me chill out a little bit and be like, oh, okay, I can do this one thing that isn't work, but it still is feeding into like other areas of my life. And I still feel, you know, somewhat productive and just like good about myself after I read, because you're doing something. Not that your hobbies should be like that or that everything you do needs to have some kind of like productivity or end goal to it. But I will say, I never feel shittier after reading. You know what I mean? For me, it's like social media, TikTok. I mean, depending on what you're watching and just like how long you're spending on there and what you're getting out of it, there's like value obviously in YouTube and connection and social media in general. I mean, hello, I'm making a video right now. But I think a lot of times, it's, for me, especially with TikTok, and I do eventually want to do a whole other shadow and schmooze just on like short form content and TikTok in general, because I just have so many thoughts on it. But for me, I rarely leave TikTok feeling better about myself. And that's something that I've really like noticed and taken into account, and now I'm like spending significantly less time on TikTok. I probably open TikTok now only like once a week. I have the app limit set on it where I can't automatically click it. I have to click ignore in 15 minutes, and I'm either on there for 15 minutes or I just don't open the app at all. And I think that has made like such a difference for me. YouTube for me is where I love, and I do usually feel like good after YouTube because I'm watching people I want to watch. I feel like I can really like connect with people and learn something, or just, you know, be entertained in a different way where it's not just like 15 seconds of a random person scrolling. One thing with reading though, or just with like hobbies in general, is I feel like it's that thing where it's like, okay, but with what time, you know? And I will say with reading, I try just not to put a time limit or like pressure on myself for getting a book done in a certain amount of time. I try to read generally like minimum 1 book a month. I'm really happy if I can read more than that, but sometimes just with stuff going on, it's not possible, or I just focus on other things like watching shows or relaxing in other ways, and there's just not enough time in the day. Why am I like out of breath right now? I find when I read books on the Kindle versus on like at the physical book, because right now I have both, I get so much more reading done on Kindle because I do it when I'm falling asleep. Like now, instead of watching something on my phone or watching YouTube when I'm falling asleep, I usually read, and A, it usually puts me to sleep pretty fast, but B, you can do it with the light off. That's like the big difference between the book and not in the Kindle for me. The Kindle, I can turn my lights off, and because it's lit up, I can see. So I just like read for as long as I'm awake, and then I usually fall asleep with the Kindle open. But if the light's on and then I'm reading, it's like I just won't read at night, because then you can't fall asleep because you have to get up to turn off the light, you know what I'm saying? It's just a whole other thing. So it's just easier, I feel like, to sneak in even like 20 minutes of reading at night, or whenever, if you're on the bus, if you commute, just easier on the Kindle. Or audiobooks. I used to listen to audiobooks more, and now I really haven't, but I want to start doing that because I do listen to podcasts a lot, but I think I want to start like listening to audiobooks when I'm walking, just as a way to get more reading in. This is the lip liner About Face in the shade Momentary Bliss. It's like a pretty pinkish coralish one. Let's do Posy. Oh no, just want to layer a few. This one's Posy. I feel like I'm looking too pink right now. Maybe I actually do need to put, I'm just putting all these on. I'm going to do some baby doll now just to lighten it up. They don't feel as moisturizing to me as the lip gloss or the lip mask. I think I prefer though actually the Charlotte Tilbury version of this. This is Crystal Happiness, and this is also just a tinted balm. This one you can just like feel more moisture on your lips, I feel like, and it is a little bit more glossy, as you can see. Like I like the finish of the Charlotte Tilbury one a little bit more. I wish there was a little more shine in the Lawless ones. I don't know how the eyes turned out this like purple looking. Oh, I guess because I put that blush on maybe. Wasn't really going the purple eyeshadow route, but here we are. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Shadow and Schmooze. I love reading the comments on Shadow and Schmoozes and on vlogs. I mean, I always love the comments, but especially on those videos, so really appreciate those of you who take the time to leave a comment. But I'm gonna have all the makeup that's on my face listed down below in the description box, along with, I always link jewelry. And this shirt, by the way, was like $8 on Walmart, and I love it. I ordered it in 2 other colors. It's just like nice and thick. I think it's intended to be a workout top, but it feels just kind of like like Aritzia bodysuits or something. And it has a nice thick fabric, so I just like it as like a shirt. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.